sorry about the shoddy lighting. It is probably about 10 o'clock in the evening. Like I said, customers' work comes first, and our stuff, gets the back seat. So it's about 10 o'clock in the evening, filming this part. Reason for that is I actually filmed what we're doing to the car, and I'm now filming the introduction. So yeah, sorry about that. But in any case, yeah, very interesting episode. Deviated a lot from what I was planning on doing. Found a lot of issues that I decided to change a lot with what the original plan was. Basically, we had a little bit of substructure that was damaged. Originally I knew about it, and originally I planned on doing it once I got the body off, but seeing how it fits together, it was going to be a daunting task to do that from underneath or from the outside. So I figured let's just do it. With that said, let's get into the episode. Thanks for coming back and thanks for watching. Okay, I'm not entirely happy with this section, and I don't like the way it's coming out. So what I was thinking of doing is to remake this section, but try and making this section as one whole plate that will drop down. I've gotten a rough idea of how high it should be, and I'm thinking that I'm going to come just a little bit lower, not all the way as far down as this piece, probably around to here. So the other thing is, I've actually found it out how this panel integrates, or the floor panel integrates with the sides. So the floor panel comes across and then has a lip down, which then welds in. This cap that comes over here, or the dorsal, that actually doesn't attach to the bottom to anything. It basically just sits loose on top of the floor and is spot welded up around and down to the back again. Trying to decide if I'm going to do I think I'm going to do this whole section as one plate, and then rather run my weld down here than welding on the corners or on the edges. I think that's going to be the best solution at the end of the day. Okay, so I do profusely apologize. I did not see that the camera had run out of battery again. But our new box section is in place. So that bit there will be our next area. Although I need to sit and think about this one, because it's got a groove down the middle there. Not sure if I can, but in that area there is a groove, which is a cable management solution. I need to figure out how I'm going to bend that in, and then the front corner in that area is also pretty rusted away, so I'm going to need to make a plan and fix that up as well. So that's going to be our next step. See how we're going to do that. But apart from that, I'll zoom out a bit. We are definitely heading in the right direction. Speaking of, on that panel, I did say that I believe it is one solid panel. I actually went and had a look. It's not one panel. It drops down from there to the corner there, where then another panel is welded in that runs up to just in front of the door section here, where it comes up at an angle. That's then spot welded onto that front column running down this side, and then it's spot welded up at an angle. So it is actually supposed to be separate panels. However, this car has been fixed and repaired there in the past, and it was one solid panel from that repair. So, but there we are. Next step. Okay, so a bit of a confession to make. I did stuff up with that rocker. It didn't look right to me from the beginning, and yeah, when I did that section there, the A-post, things really didn't look too good to me. So I decided to do what I wasn't planning on doing, and that is to cut the dorsal out on that side and see what's going on. And lo and behold, that rocker panel in the bottom there does run at a bit of an angle down. So I have fixed it up on this side, and I believe we've got it close to. I did measure across between the sill and the or rather the rocker panel and the chassis channels on the floor on either side. They measured out fine, and I did drop a straight edge in, and my lines are lining up with where the floor pan is supposed to come out in the front of a car. So from that bottom line to that corner there, all lines up. So I do think we've rocked it. Sorry, I did this off camera because I figured I'm not going to bore you with the with details of me making another panel from scratch again. Okay, so I've explained what we got wrong here, and we fixed that up, so not a major issue anymore. What I was thinking of doing, because we do have that panel over there that's now flapping in the wind, so I'm thinking maybe we need to do this part here, or this panel here. We need to do this before we can do the floor. We need to do this before we can do the dorsal. And it's kind of, well, it is a structural part of it. There is another frame that sits underneath this one, which we'll also have to rebuild because that's also pretty much destroyed. So I'm thinking of, or what the idea is here, this plate has a small lip. Let me just move the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. See if it's going to sit still. Let's do this rather. So we do have this little lip here, which is not too much of a muchness. In the bottom here, where it comes into contact with the floor, it's got a 90-degree bend to the outside. So the floor then welds into that from underneath. On this side here, we've got another lip that then spot welds onto this panel, and then this whole structure over here, which holds the control arm for the rear suspension. I'll get you back into, there we go. So this structure here holds the swing arm for the rear suspension, or control arm, whatever you want to call it. There is quite a bit of damage here. It has been repaired in the past, as you can see here. So they did actually damage the second plate over here. So we'll have to see what we can do to fix that up. But in the interim, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a new plate that will fit in here. We'll bend it over so that we've got that little lip at the top again. And then we'll do the 90-degree bend and the corner of it, which then welds into this place. And we'll have to take this part off, probably cut this out so that we can weld this onto the new plate afterwards. And yeah, let's get cracking, let's get this done. Okay, so boy was I wrong. There's a whole bunch of spot welds at the top here that I'll have to get out, and then I need to see if there's any substructure that holds onto this plate. I don't see anything quickly, but we'll have to have a look and see how this all comes off. Pretty interesting. I'm trying to figure out, these spot welds here are fine, but it's these ones that I'm going to have a tough time getting to. And I don't want to destroy this plate, so I need to think about this one and see how I'm going to do it. Okay, so after so much arguing, I did manage to get it off. The problem was the back of it, where these repairs were done, was touching against the subframe section here, which caused it to stick. And then also the rust on these bolt threads through those holes also caused it a little bit of stick. You can see there was a couple of spot welds there as well, but they weren't too much to deal with. They came off fairly easily. Inside, very different situation here. I might have to actually look at rebuilding not just the rear panel, but this whole mounting as a whole. It is looking quite bad. Okay, so I had to get quite destructive to get this plate out, and in the process of getting quite destructive to get this plate out, I also ended up with a little slight situation here. I wasn't planning on fixing this support bar from the top. I was actually planning on doing it from the bottom, along with this piece of metal that goes in here. Problem is, the support structure actually does a lot of support with regards to keeping the body aligned. So I'm thinking maybe fixing this while I'm open here. The other thing is as well, this panel, the way that it's fitted to the car, once all this is closed up, to get in here to fix this from the bottom is going to be pretty tight. So I'm thinking maybe quickly fixing this while I'm in here, and then fixing this plate. I was planning on doing this from the other side when I do the mudguard, but or the wing rather, but I think it might be a better option to do this now while the car's out, and get that in place, weld that back in, and then we should be good to go. Okay, so our first panel is welded into place. Welds aren't neat. I'll sort that out. All those welds will get sorted out before I finish up on this build, and I will clean them up and finish everything off nicely. But there we go. There's the missing corner is back into place, and we are good to go. I'm thinking next step is I'm going to be building this cross brace and figuring out how it joins up with this panel. Yeah, busy with fixing whatever's left of that cross member that sits behind the heel board. Basically what I've done, to get an idea of where we're going with this and how we're going to do this, I basically drew out a side perspective, if you want, of it. So this line, I don't know if you can see it, but I basically on my table I've drawn out a line to get an approximate idea of the shape of it. From there I went and bent a piece of plate that follows that curve. So the idea here now will be to weld that bit flat in on this one. So that will give us our basis. From there I can then get this part over here, cut this section off and build this section into it. I'm trying to use as much of a straight line as I can. That lip I can then bend over, or that flange I can then bend over without making that a separate section. Once this is welded in, then I can make a new flange that I can weld in on this one, grind it all down, get it all nice and smooth, and then I can cut this bottom plate for shape and finish it off like that. So yeah, let me get cracking on it. Okay, so I fitted the new cross member, that's back in place. I didn't do a butt weld here because this cross member is structural. I actually did a lap weld on it. So the new metal sits a little bit over, about 5mm over, with a weld on the inside and then a weld down the bottom for strength. It ties into the corner, everything fine, and then I remade this panel to get that floor black in. Like I said, once I'm done with the build, I'll climb in and get rid of all the spackle and all that and clean and neaten it up so it's one solid panel without all the grungy stuff. What I have noticed since doing this is structurally the car is in already, just by doing that, the car has actually gained a lot of structural integrity again. The reason we did the braces on it was because once, without the bracing, this window fell back probably about that much, and that's the reason we built these braces in that one little short episode we did. After doing that, I, out of interest, and I don't exactly know why I did, but I loosened up the brace to see how, what happens. This window only drops back about 10mm, so fixing that corner has actually made quite a difference to the car. So pretty impressed with what we managed to get there, what we done there. You might notice I look a little bit different in this episode. Yeah, I was threatened by the missus, so I had to make a plan. We do need to do that finishing plate. We need to do this plate over here. I'm not going to do it in this episode. This episode is running a bit long now, so I'm not going to do anything about that at the moment. I'll carry that over to another episode. What I have done though is I have started fixing up this bracket. It's actually not too bad. Where they damaged it, I managed to cut all of that out and fix all of that up. I do need to still, sorry, I'm just trying to do this with one hand. I still need to make a plate that goes across and down again to get the same shape as the other side. But that I'll do once I do this plate and get all of that into place. And with that, I'm going to end the episode here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming back to us. And again, if you don't mind, clicking the subscribe and notification buttons and follow us. It does actually, I know the subscribe button doesn't make a lot of sense, but it actually does help us quite a lot. And in one last favor, Bob, you mentioned that the audio was quite a bit high. If you don't mind letting me know if this is better, I have turned the audio down for you a little bit. So if you could let me know if it's better or if I need to take it down a bit more. Always happy to accommodate our viewers. And with that, have yourself a fantastic day, and thanks for watching. Good night.